Hello to all my foodies out there. We are back with another recipe from Baking Yesteryear. Um, for the moment, this is going to be the last recipe out of the 1900s chapter. Um, I am skipping the hot cross buns for now. They take a while to make, and just right now with my schedule, I don't have a good day to take the time and make them. I want to say the book had like a 3 hour prep time for the hot cross buns, which right now I'm just a little busy and want to be able to take the time to make them right. So we are skipping that for now and moving on to the Hermits. When I get a good day to make the hot cross buns, I will go back and make those and let you guys know how they are. So for today, we are making the Hermits, which are a cookie. Um, I've actually made Hermits before. I have not made this recipe. Um, there is a recipe for Hermits in the Castle Rock Kitchen, um, which is the cookbook based off of Stephen King novels. Um, and I have made the Hermit recipe from there, and those were really good. So I am really excited to give this recipe a try and see how it compares to the one in the Stephen King book, which I will also make on this channel at some point, probably when I decide to cook my way through that cookbook, which I am also very excited to do because it was an amazing cookbook, but besides the point for right now. Um, so let's get started on the Hermits. All right, so for the Hermits, we've got some butter here, we've got sugar, eggs, some buttermilk. In here, I have flour and some baking powder. I've got some spices here. There's cinnamon, nutmeg, cloves, and salt in here. And then in here, I've got raisins, dates, and walnuts. I hope these will be all right. My dates seemed a little dried out, but I'm going to use them anyway. Hopefully they'll perk up in the cookie. So I'm going to start with mixing my butter and sugar together and get that all nice and creamy. When I have that done, I will be back with you. All right, so I do have my butter and sugar all mixed up together. I am going to add the eggs now. Once I get those eggs mixed in, I will be back. All right, so I got the eggs mixed in. It is looking really, really good. In here, I did mix the spices in with the flour and baking powder and got that all mixed in together. It smells really good, but this combination of spices always smells really, really good. Once again, it does have that kind of fall feel with it. Um, I am going to mix in the flour and spice mixture in the eggs, alternating with my buttermilk here. Once I get that all mixed in together, I will be back. All right, so I have the flour, spices, and buttermilk all mixed in. We are going to add our dried fruit and the walnuts and get this mixed in here. These do smell really, really good. I am excited to try them. They are really different than the ones that I had made previously from the Castle Rock Kitchen. The Hermits in the Castle Rock Kitchen, you form into a log and then cut them in pieces and drizzle them with frosting. Um, so they almost look like biscotti, but they're not. But the texture is different than biscotti. These are a drop cookie. So I will be definitely excited to try these once I get these out of the oven. Um, so I do think got that mixed up pretty well. It looks really good. I'm going to get these on my cookie sheet and I will show you what they look like once I have them on there. All right, so I do have my cookies on my baking sheet here. I am hoping that they don't spread too much and that I don't have them too close together. We will see. If they do spread, my next batch that I put in the oven, I will space out a little bit more. But for now, I am going to get these in the oven and we will see what they're like when they are done. All right, so my cookies are out of the oven. I did end up baking them a little bit longer than the book said. I hope I didn't over bake them. They just didn't seem done after the recommended bake time, so I did keep them on a little bit longer. They do look really, really good. After they're cooled a little bit, I will give them a try and we will talk about them. All right, so my Hermits have cooled. I did try one. They were really good. I did really like them. They were kind of like a cross between a cookie and a spice cake. Um, the flavor was very similar to a spice cake, and the texture of the cookie was a soft, chewy cookie, very cake-like. So they were really good. Um, I did actually prefer these better than the Hermits that I had made out of the Castle Rock kitchen. However, I am kind of wanting to go back and remake the other Hermit recipe that I have. Um, I am now wondering if I had overbaked them because the Hermits I had tried making previously from the Castle Rock kitchen were a harder, crunchier cookie. And um, it still had a really good flavor, just a very different texture from these. So I definitely do want to go back and try my other recipe to see if that's just how that recipe is or if it was a mistake that I had made the first time I had made them. Overall, out of the 1900s chapter, I do have to say that the Sandtort was my favorite recipe. It was super easy to make. It had a really good flavor. I am definitely going to be making that again in the future. All the recipes from this chapter that I've made were really good. There wasn't any that I really disliked. However, looking back on all the recipes, I gotta say the election cake was probably my least favorite. It was still really good. It was just a little bit more time consuming to make. After a couple days, I was kind of tired of it. It was a struggle to finish it in our house. That was the only recipe from this chapter that we really did struggle to finish. Everything else we ate right away and everything, but we all just seemed to get kind of tired after the election cake after like one or two pieces. So that's probably the one that I am least likely to make again, even though it still was really good. I know I haven't made the hot cross buns yet. Um, I will let you know how those are when I do get around to making those. Um, I can say that the hot cross buns are probably not something I am going to make a lot of, just because of the amount of time that goes into making them. Um, there are recipes that I do make that do take a long time to make. Um, Usually some like soups, sauces, stuff like that can take a while. I know my gumbo takes a couple hours to make, my spaghetti sauce takes a couple hours to make. And that I don't mind because I can kind of let that simmer on the stove and forget about it. However, I am not crazy about baking recipes that take a while to make, like some breads and stuff like that. Um, I just kind of lose interest, run out of patience, something like that with it. You know, a lot of the baking that takes a long time can be kind of tedious as well. But I will give it a try when I do have a good day to make it, because I do want to make all the recipes in this book. Um, so we'll see how it is when I get there. Next week, we will be starting the chapter for the 1910s. The first recipe in that chapter is another cookie recipe called Starchies. It's a cornstarch cookie, which I am really excited to try. It's only 3 ingredients, and sounds really interesting, really good, and can't wait to give that a try. So until then, good times, good food. Bye.